What's up, guys? It's Alex. So the amount of support that I got off the last video that I did where I explained to everybody that my daughter has Down syndrome was so positive and so overwhelming that it finished inspiring me to go ahead and just do a whole little series where I talk about this. So if you're one of the people that loves my motorcycle videos and my music related stuff and is not really super interested in my personal life stuff, then this series won't be for you, just fair warning. But if you have any interest at all, keep watching. So some of this stuff is covered in a lot more detail in the book that I wrote about and for my daughter, which if anybody's got any interest in that whatsoever, I'm going to link it in the description so you can get it on Amazon, digital, whatever. It'll be down there. This is going to be, I'm going to call this series Aliya's Life. That's my daughter's name, Aliya. So I'm going to call this series Aliya's Life, and this is Aliya's Life episode 1. So when we first found out that my girlfriend was pregnant, just like any first-time parents, we were pretty excited about it. There's a lot of stuff we didn't know. And of course, as happens with any pregnancy, she starts going to these doctor's visits, regularly all throughout her early pregnancy. And I guess during these doctor's visits, they do some routine testing for all kinds of different birth defects and things like that, right? So it just so happened that the very first one of these visits that I was able to go to with her was a visit where she was going to find out some of the results of this testing stuff. So we get to the doctor's visit, he comes in, he starts kind of doing his thing, and then like right off the gate, right at the very beginning, the doctor tells us that our child has tested positive for trisomy 21, which in more basic terms is the extra chromosome that more commonly known as Down syndrome. So he says this is not 100%, but it's like 99% accurate that this means that our child will be born with Down syndrome. If you guys want to read up more on specifically trisomy 21, the Down syndrome thing, there is tons of literature out there. I'm not going to get crazy into all the science behind it, but it's an extra chromosome that causes the developmental delays and all the different symptoms surrounding Down syndrome. So, understandably right off the bat, and I go into this in the book, but understandably right off the bat, I was kind of angry with this doctor just for the obvious reasons of he's the guy that had to be the messenger that delivered this information to me, and my first reaction is just to be pissed off at him, which was not correct. He ended up being a fantastic doctor. I mean, nothing wrong with the guy. I ended up getting over that. He ended up being a fantastic doctor, but I was mad at him because he's the guy that gave us this news. So he goes through the rest of his little doctor's visit. We leave, and right before we leave, he tells us that at this point in time, we need to make a decision on whether or not we are keeping this baby knowing that it has Down syndrome, or whether we are going to terminate the pregnancy because it's early enough. That's when that decision has to be made. Kind of heavy. I mean, you can imagine first-time parent and you're laid with this decision like, keep the baby and deal with the fact that it's going to have developmental issues more than likely, or terminate the pregnancy. Like, this is our first child. I mean, not that it really matters whether it's your first child or not, but it's a pretty heavy decision to lay on somebody after you just gave them the information that, or after you just gave them the news that your child's probably going to have Down syndrome, like 99% going to have Down syndrome. So I'm not gonna lie to you, like on the way back to the truck and everything, that whole scenario did play out in my head, like how hard is this gonna be, like this is a life-changing kind of a thing. I mean, having a baby to begin with is a life-changing thing, having a baby with special needs is a crazy life-changing thing. So the whole scenario did run through my head, like, are we keeping, are we not keeping, what's going on with this? By the time we got to the truck though, I had made my mind up, and I looked at my girlfriend. I told her, like, we're just going to keep it. We're dealing with it. It's our baby. We're going to love it anyway. We're going to give it the best chance at life we possibly can. We're keeping it. That's just how it's going to go. Anyway, so that's how that first visit went. I mean, we found out we were going to have a baby. A few doctor's visits into it, they do some testing. Then I go for a visit, and they inform us that, your child is going to have Down syndrome, and you need to make the decision of whether or not you're going to keep this baby or not keep this baby. And to me, it wasn't even a question of it. Like, I went into this in much more detail in the book, but, in my mind, this is my child, and regardless of possible defects or flaws or whatever the world sees them as, which I don't see them as that. But regardless of possible developmental issues, I decided that this baby deserved a chance at life. This baby deserved a chance to become everything that it could be. And I'm saying it because at the time we didn't even know gender yet. This was before we even knew gender of the baby yet. But I decided that this baby deserved every chance and every opportunity at life that I could possibly give it. And it was a personal challenge to myself to try to make the best life I possibly could for this baby, regardless. Like, you know, Down syndrome or whatever. I decided I didn't give a shit. This was my baby, and I was going to do the best I possibly could by this baby, period. So that's how finding out went. You know, we found out about it. There was just a quick moment of like, you know, do you guys want to keep this? Do you guys want to not keep this? What's going on? The decision was pretty quick, like, to hell with it. We're doing it. We're keeping the baby. We'll deal with it as it goes, okay? So that's just the first little snippet. That's about how finding out went. These videos are meant for all of you guys that have any interest in this whatsoever, but especially for any of you out there who are going through similar things with special needs kids, or like maybe you just found out you're having a baby with a special need or something like that, and you're kind of scared about it. Like I was scared about it for a little while. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was freaking scared about it. There's not jack shit that scares me. So these videos are meant for you guys. Like it's a big, and this is what really the book was all about, was just keeping your chin up and being positive and understanding that even though you may have a child or a family member that's different, that doesn't mean they're any lesser than anybody else. And in a lot of ways, a lot of people with special needs are better than the rest of us because they skip out on a lot of the petty bullshit that the rest of us have to deal with and the rest of us have going through our heads and stuff. So anyway, that's Aliya's Life episode 1. I'll do episode 2 again pretty soon. Thank you guys for all the support. Again, the link to the book is in the description for anyone that's interested in it. No pressure, whatever. I wrote it for her. So that's all that is. I'll catch you guys later. I'm Alex. Peace.